It's an exciting night in Iowa City. Summer night, beautiful weather, and we are concluding quarter of a century on the air, trying to talk to our community about education, awareness of the accomplishments of our schools, our teachers. We have a system that is one unique system. It's one of the best, maybe in the world. In this little town, in the middle of nowhere, we are making miracles here. And when you listen to my co-host mentioning the achievement of this, you will be amazed, because a lot of it hasn't been published. A lot of it is not known. Sometimes we tend to focus on negativity, on criticism, and in the way we tend to forget or ignore, overlook the real successes. And so in the conclusion of this year and 25 years, it's very important for me as a host of this and a producer to be able to convey to the community the message of education in Iowa City. And no one can represent this better than Steve Murley, our superintendent, our brilliant superintendent. I promised in the correspondence and preparation that I will not praise you much. I will try. That's why I'm having my co-host that would meet with you for the first time. Steve, now my feeling is kind of bittersweet, but in the meantime, I am so happy with what has been accomplished as a parent, as a citizen, and as a TV famous personality. Steve, what do you feel?
Well, this is a great time of the year. As you said, there's always a little bit of that feeling of bittersweet because it's coming to the end. But for us, it's the celebration season, which is why it's great to be able to talk to you about some of the accomplishments of the district, because this week begins graduation week. So we have the Transition Services Center graduating Wednesday, West on Saturday, City High on Sunday, and Tate High School next Tuesday. So I know when you talk to the students, especially the seniors, they also have a little bit of that feeling of that bittersweet end of something and the beginning of something else. And so just as you're looking back on 25 years with Education Exchange, it's an opportunity for us as we reflect back on the year and what we've accomplished, thinking forward to what's coming next, just as our students who are walking across the stage think about what's coming next for them.
So let us look at what has been accomplished this year. 9 months, that's all. 9 months has accomplished all what we are going to see now. Louis, why don't you go ahead and tell us what happened in various areas, and we'll interrupt you to explain to our viewers some of the maybe jargons or something like that.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right. In the academic achievement, 82% of 2016 graduates completed ACT-defined rigorous core curriculum. 80% of students scoring a 3 or higher on AP tests. Record enrollment at Kirkwood Regional Center, that's 56+% versus 1 year ago. Record enrollment in career and technical classes, 3,133 students. Record participation in ACT testing, plus 5% over past record, while maintaining exceptional 25.4 district average. 29 national merit semi-finalists, top 2/3 of City High School and West High School students in top 25% of nation. City High School and West High School ranked top 5 in Iowa and both recognized as best in the nation. Implementation of weighted resource allocated model.
And maybe that's one to just step in and talk a little bit about that, because that's been a huge success for us in the district. One of the challenges that we have is putting resources in classrooms with students who need them the most. And that's not to say that any students from a value perspective are more or less valuable than others, but it simply is a recognition that some of our students have greater barriers to learning. There's a need to present greater opportunities for them as they look to both achieve at a mastery level and also close gaps. And so we've worked very hard to put in place a model that allows us to drive resources to those classrooms and those schools with the greatest needs. And we've been very excited this year. Not only have we done that with our teaching staff and our support staff, but we've also begun to do it with things such as technology. So that we can make sure that those students have that opportunity to close the achievement gap by providing the resources that they need.
And to continue on, successfully implemented Little Hawk Advisory, resulting in more students achieving honor roll status, expansion of IJAG program, English Language Learners ELL programming added at Van Allen Elementary School.
There's another great opportunity for us. One of the things that we've struggled with over the years is having appropriate English Language Learner or ELL instruction. And in many cases in the past, students who needed ELL instruction actually had to leave their home school and travel to another school. For instance, when I first arrived, we had ELL programming at City High, but not at West High. So if you were a high school student that needed ELL programming, you actually had to take a bus over to City High in order to achieve receive services. It was the same way at the junior high and at the elementary school level. And so one of the things that we've committed to over the past 7 years, and we're almost there right now, is to have universal ELL programming. And that then allows our students who need English language learner instruction to do that in their home school. And we know that being in their home school does many things for them. It allows them to socialize with their neighborhood peers, which is very important. It allows their parents access to programs at the school without having to travel. And many of our ELL parents have travel issues in addition to language issues. And so taking those boundaries away, taking those barriers away, helps those students better connect to school. And do better academically. And so we only have 2 schools left as of the start of the next school year that will not have ELL programming in their home neighborhood. So we're very close to getting to that universal provision of services at all schools across the district. And I think the other thing that's important for people to realize, and I would imagine many of the folks in the audience are unaware of this, we've had a 200% increase in English language learner students in just the last 5 years. So our ELL population is exploding. That's a great thing for the district. It's a huge asset when you think about from a cultural standpoint and from a global perspective as we think about our students moving on when they're done with school here and really working and learning and living on a multicultural global platform. They get that start in high school, and they have that because of the virtue of the students that sit next to them in class. But again, that's a responsibility for us to make sure that we're providing instruction for those students that allows them to get up to speed in English and then succeed academically with their peers. And so we're really excited about that change in the programming.
Very good. AVID lead model implementation at Kirkwood Elementary School.
If I'm allowed to, can I interrupt again there?
Absolutely,
Yes,
of
So
course.
the AVID program is a really neat opportunity. We piloted at Kirkwood. We'll move it up to Northwest next year. What it, in a nutshell, what it's doing is the ID part of it is individual determination. And so one of the things that we know is that students, all of us actually, do better when we know what the end in mind is. And so we're starting as young as our elementary students, helping them think forward. So I'll use an example. I was in Renee Pearson's class at the beginning of the school year, literally first week of school, and she had all of her students lining up and taking a picture with the cap and gown and the class. So you have to think ahead. Right now we're talking about the class of 2017. So think about kindergartners and first graders and second graders now move forward 13, 12, 11 years. So we're looking out to the class of 2028, 29. And so they're taking photos of themselves at that young age with a destination. When are they going to graduate? And then we talk to the students, and the program talks to the students about what it is that they need to succeed, both in high school, but then to plot a trajectory. Where are you going next? where is post-secondary education? Where is career? Where is citizenship? And what are the things that you need to do and to work on as young as a first grade student in order to succeed in those three areas? And so if you talk to the staff at Kirkwood about the focus that's brought to the school, the level of cohesion that you've seen with not just the students and the teachers, but also with their families as they come together, and as they begin to say, as the map of my life unfolds, here are the key points along the way, and here's what I'm doing to plan to get there. Maybe one of the neatest little anecdotal stories is we don't think a lot about teaching organizational skills. In some cases, some of those are just inherent, or we absorb them along the way. AVID is very, very deliberate about making sure that students are working hard on that particular aspect of their educational component. And so they've got a nifty binder that they have that the kids, that kind of organizes and governs their life as they move through the school year. And one young man lost his binder. And so they were trying to figure out what to do. And he literally said, you know, I actually don't need that binder. I can build my own. And so he found a binder, and he made his own dividers in the binder, and he labeled them all, and he rebuilt what was the prefabricated binder on his own with materials that he found, because he'd already internalized what it was that the binder was designed to help him do in terms of organizing his academic life at school. And so he was able to replicate that simply because those were already ingrained habits at that point in the school year form. So you think about an elementary school student internalizing that at that point in time, and then the benefits that will have all the way through until they're a senior and beyond as they move out into post-secondary education and into career.
We were lucky to cover them and showcase their activities in March. It was one of our best shows, as a matter of fact, the AVID program.
Yes. Yeah. So it'll move up into, especially with those Kirkwood students that are moving on, we'll be moving that up into the junior high level as students get ready to matriculate and move into the 7th and 8th grade.
I love
We just
that.
cross the street, that's all.
All right, moving on. 90 high school musicians were selected to perform with the 2016 All-State Band, Choir, and Orchestra. Northwest Junior High 8th grade concert band and Southeast 8th grade jazz band were selected as honor bands to perform for the 2016 Iowa Bandmasters Conference. Multi-tiered system of supports, MTSS, handbooks created and shared with staff, early literacy implementation, ELI, continued progress in expanding sheltered instruction observation protocol, SIOP, implementation of new elementary and secondary bell schedules, teacher leadership and compensation, TLC, system implementation, implemented the Reading Corp tutoring program in several of the elementary schools. Both City High School and West High School student newspapers received state and national honors. That's right, we had them in our show.
Yeah, that's correct.
Multiple co-curricular and extracurricular honors received by both comprehensive high schools. Built Common Program of Studies for City High School, Liberty High School, and West High School.
And maybe if I could add, because I know that there are a couple of things that haven't made it on there that have just been issues that have come up over the last couple of months since we compiled this. And probably the one I think that I'm very excited about in terms of what's going to happen next year, but then really looking down the road is we worked with the board and have done some reconfiguration of our pre-kindergarten programs. And so we'll have more seats open next year for pre-K kids than we have this year. Space is always a challenge for us, and hopefully as we move through the facilities master plan, we're going to open up additional seats at the elementary school so that we can put more pre-K kids in there. But one of the things that we did was through a comprehensive overview of the program itself, we looked at it and said that we think we can put more students into the classrooms that we have if we're able to retain and add some additional staff into our pre-K room. So we're augmenting the staffing there next year, and we're going to be adding students into the program. We know that for students that come in with that pre-K experience, they really are ready to go when they get to kindergarten. So this is a very exciting opportunity for students and certainly for our kindergarten teachers as they look forward to the future years where they're able to receive those students into their classrooms.
Let's go to the curriculum now.
Sure.
What happened?
In the curriculum, prioritization and deconstruction of English language arts standards at the elementary level, K-6 implementation of a new physical science kit, expansion of K-6 reading intervention materials, implementation of new mathematics programs 7 through 12, alignment of the Spanish and French curriculum across all instructional levels, implements a new K through 12 health curriculum.
Perfect. And the professional development now.
Yes. All certified staff participated in English language proficiency standards training, modules 1 and 2, Office of Civil Rights professional development training for administrative and teaching staff, cultural competency. I'm sorry. Competency training for all administrative staff.
Good.
ELI language essentials for teachers of reading and spelling, LETRS, and common formative assessments training for elementary administrators and instructional design strategists.
And maybe I always have a hard time because I'm not sure where I should interrupt in here because I know we don't have that much time and there's so much to cover. But maybe just a couple of other things that I think are in that current achievement and then looking forward piece. We are really excited that next year for students at the high school level, grades 9 to 12, when they come in the fall and they go through that textbook checkout process. Do you remember doing that at West?
Yes.
Go through the library, get all your textbooks. So as they go through that process, they will also be checking out a Google Chromebook.
Wow.
And one of the things that we've
And
worked...
each student will have one.
Correct. Each student will have one. If you've been in any of our classrooms over the course of the last year at the two high schools, you see where they're already being used. Right now we've got carts of them and teachers are able to check them out. They're able to drive their lessons through those. The difficulty for the teacher obviously is they're competing against all the other teachers to get those Chromebooks in their classroom, and so you can't provide your entire curriculum over there because you don't have access to them every day. And this way they will be able to do that. And working with the students, it's really interesting to hear their feedback on it. So our students have adapted so well the Chromebooks and the Google Classroom platform that gives them the opportunity to complete homework, to upload it online so that our teachers have access to it electronically. There are so many curricular materials that are available online. Last year we ran a 2-day Google Summit for staff, and we'll do another one of those this year because we know that in order for the students to be able to take advantage of it, we need the teachers to be fully up to speed and ready to go. So we've built an on-ramp for them, if you will, give them a couple of years to work on this, practice these, get them in place, so that next year when all of the students have them, we're very confident that our teachers will be ready to go.
And this will bring us to the significant success of our bond issue, the obligation bond issue. And that would probably make our viewers feel that this is a necessity in order to make all these dreams come true.
Yeah, you know, one of the things that was a challenge when I first arrived, and we've been chipping away at it, is making sure that we have a really robust technology platform for our students and staff, and that's everything from having the hardware that they need, but also the behind-the-scenes things that you don't see, whether it's the servers or the wireless networks in the buildings, to make sure that it really functions effectively for students regardless of where they are. And maybe one more note on that, which is I know something that probably folks at home are interested in hearing and understanding, is we have great access to it. At school. So we have a very robust wireless network now, and we're beefing it up again this summer so that it'll be even better when we get to next fall. But we know that many students go home and they may not have that type of access at home. So we've been working diligently to pursue a grant which should give students the opportunity to have access at home for free. And if they can't access it, if it's not physically accessible in their neighborhood, then we can actually have mobile hotspots that we can check out for them, so that way when a student goes home, they don't have a technology-rich learning environment at school and then a technology desert at home. but we can make sure that we can bridge that gap for them so that they have the access in school and they also have that access at home.
Great. Louis.
Yes, business office.
We have a few minutes now.
Okay.
You have a long list of achievements.
Yes. Business office, very strong budget year, 1.2 million underspent versus budget with 800K in reduced operational expense. Ahead of schedule on unspent balance progress, initiated document management system to begin moving documents to electronic format. Coordinated changes for employee health insurance and annuity benefit changes. Maintain an updated cash flow and funding models for the facilities master plan. Completed sale of sales tax revenue bonds to support the facilities master plan.
Let us go now to the community affairs and ask Steve to start reading because I don't want you to lose your voice now.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. So in community affairs, Hoover Elementary School groundbreaking and the ribbon cutting ceremony for Coralville Elementary School. That's one of our schools that we went through and did the historical renovation on. District mobile app launched. Makes it a little bit easier to find us on the internet. Transition to a 3-year district calendar. We know how important it is for folks to be able to plan ahead, and this gives them a 3-year window. Completion of 2 community engagement projects through Thought Exchange, and we'll have 3 more coming out next year. That's also moving to a mobile platform, so it'll be much easier to complete on your phone. The Any Given Child program established, and that really creates for us a wonderful way to bring together our fine arts programming throughout the district K to 12. Moving on to equity, we're nearing the completion of year 1 of a 3-year commitment to the implicit bias training for our admin staff and our teaching staff. Significant improvement in organization demographics supporting people of color in administrative and support staff roles. And I just stop and say that I just spoke with Kingsley Botchway about this, and we are well ahead on our support staff goal. We actually are at about 20%. Of our staff in terms of our diversity goal. We had a 15% goal. We're about 20% right now, so we're well on the way there. Engage the unions and federal resources through the mediation folks in the University of Iowa and our cultural competency opportunities, integration of the equity focus and the curriculum review process for the content areas, continuation of the cultural competency coaching model in all district buildings. In human resources, recruited a very strong leadership team and handled our administrative attrition, maintained strong relationships with our employee union groups, and I know we're running out of time, but I would tell you that last year was a tough year for that with what transpired in Des Moines, and I can tell you that during my 24 years in public ed, I think we have our strongest relationship with the associations that I've ever had, and part of that was weathering the storm together in a non-adversarial process that was incredibly important to us. With only a couple minutes left, I'm just going to highlight a couple things so that I don't have to read through the whole list. And one of them is in nutrition services because I think that some of the things that I think go unrecognized are some of our support staff roles. And we had a great partnership with Farm to Schools this year with a 132% increase in local produce. And so you find us working with our local farms, and that if you think about the farm to table idea, we have the farm to school idea, and so we bring those resources in for our students, and we know that it's wonderful to give them that opportunity to have access to fresh fruits and vegetables. Universal breakfast at Alexander Hills, Kirkwood, Twain, and Wood Elementary Schools, and we know how important it is for kids to get going in the morning. And for our students in those schools, it's a universal free breakfast, so everyone gets to participate. And then last but not least, as we run out of time here, we've got a fresh fruits and vegetables program, which is such a neat opportunity.
She would be very happy with that because she is into the health issues and
I can still remember
nutrition.
going into one of the elementary classrooms and not personally being a huge fan of jicama, but I was in there, and since I was in there with the students, I had to participate with them, so I had to eat my jicama with them. But for many of our kids, the opportunity to try fruits and vegetables that they never otherwise would try, we know that just being exposed to that, having an opportunity to enjoy those fruits and vegetables where they might otherwise not be able to do that, generates new habits for them both at school and at home. So
That's
a really
wonderful.
neat opportunity.
One of the, you are a terrific leader, but one of the things that Bob Groy did, one of your predecessors
Yes.
a long time ago, is printing a bulletin board that kids take home with all the achievements every month. That's what we did. And I urge your staff, not you, of course, I mean, you've done enough, you're doing enough already, but your staff to prepare this bulletin board, send it to the kids, because a lot of this information, and I'm talking to our public now,
Right.
If me, as a host of this program, doesn't know about 50% of this,
Sure.
how about our viewers? This is not criticism for you, but it is maybe something that you shy from showing, and you have to be so proud of what you have attained and gained already.
As a district,
And
we've
that
had a
would bring
great
me
year.
to my last question. How can you describe your vision of leadership?
Well, I think that I always look at leadership as the opportunity to influence others and to inspire them. And you have to lead from the front, but at the same time, and I know way back in 2010, you and I had a conversation, and I told you can't push string. You have to pull it. And so I think it's my job to work with my team, to work with our staff of 2,000 incredibly dedicated employees, and to set a goal and a direction, and hopefully provide some inspiration, some influence, so that they have the opportunity to excel.
And you may need a coat like this. This is called Keaton Lion.
I'm not sure I could carry that off.
Keaton Lion is a very expensive coat, and I'm wearing it because this is the conclusion of
You
a
look
quarter of a
wonderful in the
century,
coat.
you see?
Yes.
I
I could use that for a Liberty High School graduation.
I don't know. Can we thank him enough?
I don't believe so.
We don't want. I mean,
your
we can thank
passion
him because we
exudes you.
neither you nor me work for him, so we can do that, right? Because everybody else, oh yeah, they get paid to do that. No, but we are very neutral, we're very impartial. We look always for something to criticize. You know, the media, of course. And if we don't find something to criticize, we create news. And that's easy too. Steve, it has been a delight having you here.
Great pleasure.
Thank you very
And,
much, and congratulations on
we're
finishing
happy
your
that-
25th year.
Yeah, we're happy that John Karoff has done this over the years.
Yes, he has.
In silence, away from the camera. I was always on the air, on the camera, but he was always hidden behind the glass door. So is Mike Peterson, who is not with us tonight. But we thank you very much, and we want you to continue. I know when we first, our conversation, you didn't expect to stay here. How many years now?
7 years.
7 years. Well, congratulations.
Thank you, and thank you very much for everything that you do for us and helping us get the good word out and share our good news with the rest of the world.
And as you will know, our viewers, we are on YouTube tonight. In the meantime, we are on Public Access TV website, Public Access TV station, that's station number 18. We are on 21, that's the Education Steve's channel, of course. And in addition to that, we are ready to receive any of your questions. This is a man who's ready to answer any of your concerns at any time. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
And thank you, Elwie, for a wonderful reading of some of the achievements. Maybe we can have next year another program.
The other list.
Yes, the other list, yeah. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, and our kids, have a wonderful evening, and congratulations for the graduates, and have a great summertime and celebration.